a troubled young boy named Ricky Baker, has a history of acting out, getting into trouble, and being labeled as a problem child. This reputation makes it difficult for child services to find a suitable foster family willing to take him. However, a glimmer of hope appears when a foster family who lives in the remote countryside, Bella and her husband Hector, step forward, willing to embrace Ricky and offer him a fresh start. After enjoying his first dinner with his new family, Ricky excused himself and headed towards his bedroom. Just as he reached the door, Bella called out to him, her voice filled with warmth and care. She informed Ricky that she had prepared his room with various items, including a book and even a knife. Not long after, Ricky's rebellious behavior resurfaced. That night, he attempted to run away and ventured to climb a nearby hill. However, come morning, Ricky was discovered fast asleep in the grass by Bella's dog. Startled, he jolted awake to Bella's friendly greeting. To his surprise, Ricky was informed by Bella that he had ventured only 200 meters away from her home. Ricky casually claimed that he was merely taking a break. Bella, seeing chills, assured him that breakfast was ready. While eating his pancake, Ricky approached Hector and relayed Bella's message, asking what he could do to help. In response, Hector curtly replied, "Just leave me alone." Without hesitation, Ricky then accepting Hector's request without protest. The next morning, Bella was busy plucking rabbit fur when Ricky approached her, curious if she had ever been to the jungle nearby. Bella gently corrected him, explaining that it was not a jungle but rather a bush. Ricky chuckled, realizing that their definitions of bush differed. In response, Bella shared that she hailed from the depths of those mountains, where treacherous journeys could easily lead to getting lost. Ricky, showing his reluctance to assist Bella with the rabbit, found himself persuaded when she invited him to practice shooting. As she provided instructions, Ricky, in a moment of impulse, pulled the trigger and hit the target with precision. One day Bella invited Ricky to go hunting. Not long after, Bella's dog started barking and sprinting. Bella understood that her dog had found a hog. As the hog became trapped in a corner, Bella swiftly drew her knife, jumping in and stabbing the hog multiple times. Witnessing the intense act, Ricky, the rebellious tough guy, fainted. On Ricky's birthday, Bella was celebrating and singing a birthday song for Ricky. On the other hand, Hector seemed less enthusiastic than Bella. Nevertheless, Bella urged Hector, informing him that it was time to present Ricky with his birthday gift. Ricky looked surprised as he saw his present, a dog. He graciously thanked Bella and Hector, expressing that it was his best birthday ever. He quickly corrected himself, acknowledging that he had never celebrated his birthday before. Before bedtime, Bella apologized to Ricky, expressing regret that she hadn't found him sooner. Ricky appeared content and happy living with his new family. However, the following morning, while playing with his dog whom he named Tupac, the unexpected occurred. Tupac suddenly sprinted off, prompting Ricky to chase after him. As Ricky followed, he heard the sound of Hector's crying. When he arrived, he discovered the heartbreaking truth that Bella had passed away. After that tragic incident, the Child Service sent a letter to Hector notifying him that they intended to take Ricky back into the foster care system. However, Ricky refused as he had grown to love his current home. Determined to stay, Ricky persistently tried to convince Hector to let him stay. At nightfall, Hector gathered all of Bella's belongings, including her ashes, and placed them carefully in a box. He tells Ricky that nothing he could to make him stay. Ricky ran away once more. Determined to stage his own demise, he wrote a note and set out to fake his death by burning his entire set of clothing in the barn. He then ran away with his dog Tupac. With his rifle, Ricky, accompanied by his loyal dog, embarked on a journey through the bush. It didn't take long for him to consume all of his food, leaving him feeling lost and desperate. Nevertheless, he braved the night alone in the bush until Hector eventually found him. As they walked trying to find their way out of the bush, Ricky found out that Hector couldn't read. Amused by this unexpected discovery, Ricky started mocking him. Annoyed by Ricky's behavior, Hector attempted to scold him but accidentally broke his ankle on a tree root. Paula from Child Services and Andy, the police officer, arrived at Hector's house. Paula inspected the burnt barn while harboring suspicions about Hector's involvement in Ricky's disappearance. They set up camp, and Hector was left speechless as he watched Ricky dance with his imaginary Walkman. Ricky, determined to find food, took the rifle and went hunting. He spotted a bird but missed the shot, returning to the camp empty-handed. To their surprise, Hector revealed an eel he had caught from the river. At night, while enjoying their eel, Ricky shared a story about losing his friend. He explained that he had been informed of his friend's passing in her foster family's home, but no one had provided any details about how she had died. In the morning, they left their camp and came across a shelter. Ricky was surprised when he saw a wanted poster displaying a manhunt for Hector, accusing him of kidnapping Ricky, who had been missing for 6 weeks. They speculated that Hector might be mentally unstable due to the loss of his wife. While preparing their food, Three hunters unexpectedly entered the shelter. Instantly recognizing Hector and Ricky, they demanded an explanation. Hector clarified that Ricky had been lost and he was attempting to bring him back. However, the hunters dismissed Hector's story, mocking him. Ricky, determined to defend Hector, explained to the hunters their true purpose for being in the bush. However, his explanation took an unintended turn, sounding as if he had been molested by Hector. The hunters, believing Ricky's words, labeled Hector as a pervert, which enraged him. A fight broke out, but suddenly Ricky fired a shot into the ceiling, commanding the hunters to release Hector. Seizing the opportunity, Hector and Ricky made their escape from the hunters. After their escape, Hector was overcome with panic and frustration, realizing that the police were on his trail, and he feared being imprisoned once again. It was revealed that Hector had previously been in jail for accidentally killing a man. Surprisingly, Ricky found this revelation rather cool. Hector advised Ricky to return to the child welfare system for his own safety. Ricky adamantly refused, as he knew that they wouldn't place him in the child system, but rather in juvenile detention. Hector and Ricky's story became a sensation, capturing the attention of the media, police, and countless uniformed individuals. Helicopters flew overhead and a massive search effort was launched to locate Hector and Ricky. Meanwhile, Paula grew increasingly frustrated as she interrogated the hunters at a shelter, hoping for any leads. Despite the chaos surrounding them, Hector and Ricky found solace in their run, seeking shelter and foraging for food, hunting a variety of animals. While examining a map to determine their location, Ricky became irritated by the sound of a bird nearby. Intrigued, Hector approached to investigate and soon realized that the bird they were hearing was believed to be extinct. Regrettably, they lacked a camera to capture the rare sighting and preserve the evidence. As they continued their run, Hector and Ricky stumbled upon another shelter. Hector instructed Ricky to search for food instead of books, prompting Ricky to open a curtain and make a shocking discovery. He found a ranger dying in bed with his eyes open. In a desperate attempt to seek help, Hector urged Ricky to make a 2-hour journey through the bush to reach the nearby river where the bush people resided. Ricky set out to find help and met a beautiful girl named Kahu who was riding a horse. She recognized Ricky and took him back to her home. At her house, Kahu made a playful joke about her parents being gone. Suddenly, her father arrived and saw Ricky. He also recognized Ricky and became fascinated with him. He excitedly asked Ricky to take a picture with him. Kahu sang a song, and Ricky fell asleep. When Ricky woke up in the morning, he realized that he was supposed to have gone a long way. He then took a horse ride, following the same path where Kahu had found him before. The people who were searching for them, including the ranger who had survived his diabetes, were present, but Hector was nowhere to be found. Ricky made a decision and took off, leaving the search party behind. As a reporter reporting from the bush, Ricky had been on the run for 4 months. The story of Ricky and Hector saving a ranger made them even more popular than before. The search party continued their efforts in the ongoing search. Meanwhile, on national television, the police made an announcement offering a reward of $10,000 to anyone who found Ricky and Hector. Paula and Andy found Ricky but couldn't capture him due to a large ditch between them. Paula wanted Ricky to admit that Hector mistreated him, but he refused. Paula then called the nearby search party, and Ricky took off. Ricky finally reunited with Hector by the river, and they continued their run together. Along the way, they unexpectedly encountered the 3 hunters once again. They disarmed them and the hunters informed Hector about the reward for capturing them. Just as Hector and Ricky were about to leave, they boldly declared themselves as the wilderpeople. During their time in the bush, they came across a hog that the dogs attempted to attack. While Tupac managed to survive, Zag did not make it. In remembrance of their loyal companion, Hector and Ricky created a mound of rocks, forming the word Zag. At a lake, Ricky shows Hector the ashes of Bella, which he didn't know he had with him. Bella had mentioned wanting to go to a lake in the sky and Ricky believes this lake might be the one she meant. Hector carefully scattered Bella's ashes into the peaceful water, honoring her memory. They had been away for so long that now it was winter, and it started to snow. The search party was still looking for them, but somehow Hector and Ricky managed to escape. One day, Hector and Ricky spot a bush that seems to be moving. To their surprise, it's a man named Sam who is a bit eccentric. He has been living in a trailer for 15 years and believes in wild conspiracy theories. Sam, being cautious, puts metal hats on Hector and Ricky to prevent the government from reading their minds. Hector and Ricky decide to spend the night with Sam, but they soon realize they need a way to leave. Luckily, Sam has a pickup truck, and Ricky figures out how to start it. With the uniformed men getting closer, Ricky starts driving fast and recklessly to evade them. The chase intensifies as they enter a desert, which is used for military training, and even the army gets involved. Paula, who is in a military vehicle, asks Ricky to surrender and pull over, but Ricky refuses and accelerates the car even more. Up ahead, The military with a tank is prepared to stop them, but Ricky steers the car towards the bush. Eventually, Ricky crashes the truck through a fence and ends up in a junkyard, causing significant damage. With no way to escape, Hector suggests giving up. Andy, the police officer, noticed a hunter sneaking up behind Ricky and Hector. Ricky, determined to resist, points a rifle at Hector, demanding that he not surrender. Meanwhile, the hunter in the back attempts to shoot Hector, but Andy quickly takes him down. Ricky is startled and accidentally shoots Hector in the buttocks. Finally, they were captured by the authorities. In the courtroom, a decision was made regarding Ricky's fate. Paula, Kahu, and her father, who were fans of Ricky, attended to give their statements. Now Ricky lives with Kahu's family, while Hector serves his time in jail and later goes to a rehabilitation house. There, he learns to read and Ricky visits him since they live nearby. Ricky has a conversation with Hector and tells Hector that he bought a camera to take pictures of the bird they saw in the bush. Ricky also asks Hector to come and live with him and Kahu's family, to which Hector agrees. They embark on their journey together to find the bird.